If after trading losses, you find yourself questioning everything, your strategy, your ability to trade, if trading even works, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you a psychological trick that any trader can implement to ensure that they have unshakable confidence, even in the face of big and painful trading losses. This is a simple trick that I've taught many of my 6 and 7-figure traders that they use daily to ensure that the inevitable trading loss doesn't take them away from pulling consistent profits. Now, I want you to comment below this video your biggest trading psychology issue right now. I want to offer you some guidance. Most traders think what they need is more confidence, but really what they need is certainty. I ask many traders, are you confident in your trading strategy? And usually they say something along the lines of, yeah, I'm confident in it. And then I ask him and I probe a little deeper and I say, how did you come to the conclusion that you're confident in your trading strategy? And usually what they say is, I've seen my mentor make a little bit of money with this trading strategy. I made $2,000 last Tuesday and I think it works. And then I ask them, how do you feel after you take a loss? And they say, all that confidence I had disappears. There's something wrong with me. And I say, whoa, hold on. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just trying to convince yourself that you're confident in something that you don't have data to support that actually works, and you've put yourself between a rock and a hard place because you want to believe this trading strategy works, but you haven't collected the data to show your brain with true evidence that it's profitable and it works. So you're trying to convince yourself you're profitable, but every time you take a loss, you deep down are questioning whether that strategy is profitable or not. And they usually say, yeah, that's true. So I tell them what you need isn't confidence. What you need is certainty in your mind that every time you come to the market, you know exactly how you're entering into the market and you have data to show that over a large sample space, you entering that way is going to be profitable. You may not be profitable in this individual trade, but you have certainty that over a large sample space, you're going to be more profitable than not. You're going to make money. And then you also need to have certainty that the way you exit out of the market with your management style works as well. And again, you have data to support and prove that works based on historical data and evidence that you can actually show your mind. And that way you can come to the market with certainty that this is the way you enter, this is the way you exit, and also with realistic expectations that you may not be profitable in this individual trade, but you don't need to be. Because you know if you're sticking to your process over the large sample space, you are certain that you're going to end up profitable. So then I show them a thought exercise I'm going to show you right now. And then I also teach them a tool and show them a practical thing they can do, which I'm going to show you at the end of this video, to ensure that they build certainty. And when they have certainty, they no longer need confidence. Because the only reason you're desiring confidence in the first place is because deep down you don't have certainty that your trading strategy works. So you're looking for confidence as a form of comfort as opposed to using data to have certainty that your trading strategy actually works. So I show them this. I say, if you now have certainty with the data that you have 100 trades, I only have 10 here, but let's imagine you had 100 trades, and you can visually see that even though you take losses and sometimes strings of losses, at the end of those 100 trades, at the end of that sample space, you're going to end up profitable because you know that you're going to win more than you lose because your strike rate is, for example, in this scenario, 60%, and each win you take is going to be larger than each loss you take because your reward to risk is 2 to 1. So once they have the data to support with evidence and they've seen it and it's true and they're not making anything up, they now have certainty that they'll end up profitable over the larger sample space. And I show them that there's no need to have confidence that each individual trade is going to be profitable because they won't be profitable. At times you're going to take losses, at times you're going to take a string of losses, but you can have certainty that if you consistently stick to your process over the large period and over the long period and the larger sample space, you're going to be profitable. And I help traders transition from confidence, false confidence, to true certainty. And you can only have true certainty if you're embracing both sides of the market, the winning and the losing. You see, traders try and trick themselves into being confident, and what this is actually doing is setting unrealistic expectations that every individual trade is going to be a win. And then when they take an inevitable loss, it kills their confidence. But if you embrace both winning and losing, then you realize that you're going to win and lose, but you're going to win greater than you lose, and you're going to win more than you lose. And in terms of the larger sample space, if you stick to your process, you have certainty that you're going to be profitable at the end of that sample space. That's something that traders can truly resonate with, as opposed to this false idea of confidence that every trader intuitively knows isn't true. So I get them to visualize their edge and show them that even after these 2 losses or even more losses, and you may be sitting -2, -3, -4 for the month, you can still have certainty that over the larger sample space, you're going to be profitable. And the trick that I teach them is to broaden their perspective. Instead of just thinking about the outcome of one individual trade, trade, start putting everything in context of the larger sample space. There's no point getting depressed or losing confidence after one loss, because this one loss is just compensating for future wins to average it down to your monthly average. And there's no need to get overconfident about wins, because these wins are just compensating for past losses or future losses to give you your average monthly return. So the trick I teach traders is to broaden their perspective. Instead of thinking about the outcome of one individual trade, think about the outcome of 10 trades, a larger sample space, or even 100 trades. And the broader your perspective can be, then the less emotional you're going to be after each individual trade. Both elated and depressed. You're going to be less elated, less depressed. You're going to be more process-based, and you're going to be just sticking to your trading plan as opposed to getting caught in fear and greed and overconfidence and lack of confidence. These are all polarities that are part of outcome-based thinking because of an addiction to an individual win. But when you break out of that trap and you start thinking about the broader sample space, then you just have certainty that things are going to work out over time. You don't need false confidence or false hope or false faith. All you have is true certainty that your process over a large sample space will play out. Now, this is all assuming you have an edge in the first place. You don't want to be trying to curve fit to try and justify to yourself that your edge worked. You want to be testing. If your edge doesn't work, you want to find something else. But if it does, then you want to trade it with certainty in the data. So broaden your perspective. Now, the easiest way to kill your resilience as a trader and to kill your confidence is to come into each individual trade expecting and being addicted to that individual trade being a win and it making you money and it being profitable. And going into a trade thinking that this individual trade is going to be a win is craziness. Nobody has any idea of all the factors influencing price at any point in time of any asset. Nobody has any control over all those factors. Nobody knows how all those factors are going to influence the actual underlying price and how quickly that's going to take and when that's going to happen. So to think that we can predict what's going to happen on each individual trade is complete delusional. It's an exaggerated state of pride that we put ourselves in thinking we can do that. But as every trader knows, that the more they expect something from the market, from this state of pride and arrogance, the more they're going to get humbled by the market. So whenever you go into a trade expecting a positive win and you take an inevitable loss, because this is very pleasurable in your mind, then this is very painful by law of contrast. So this is how you kill your resilience as a trader, expecting wins on each individual trade, because you're expecting something that the market's not willing to give you. And these unrealistic expectations lead to your own suffering and your own pain. So the way you have resilience as a trader is transition from outcome-based thinking, which is the addiction to winning each individual trade, to process-based thinking, which is irrespective of whether this trade is a win or a loss, I'm going to stick to my trading plan, my proven mechanical trading plan that has my edge outlined in a step-by-step process of entry to management to exit to risk management. And I'm going to focus on consistently sticking to my trading plan and just taking setups when the market aligns with my trading plan. And my expectation is that on this individual trade, I don't know whether it's going to be a win or a loss. And to be fair, I don't care if it's a win or a loss. I'm focused on consistently sticking to my trading plan over a large sample space of trades, because I know if I do that, I'm going to end up profitable. And then you achieve consistent profitability because you've got realistic expectations, you're sticking to your edge, and now you can scale up without greater pressures and greater greeds and fears in your trading, and you can make more and more money from your trading. So the two tools I want you to implement from this video. Firstly, I want you to take your trading edge and make sure you've put it into a mechanical trading plan outlining your entry points and your exit points. And then I want you to go and backtest 100 trades. And I want you to go through data, maybe the last year of data based on the pairs of the assets or the stocks or the cryptos or the futures you trade, and go back over the last 100 trades in that data. And I want you to collect those trades. And I want you to document down the result of that trade, whether it was a win or a loss, and then your reward of the wins, what your reward would be. Was it plus 3R or plus 1R or plus 7R, whatever it is. And then the loss, is it negative 1R or negative 0.5R, whatever it is. I want you to write down the loss and the win so you can calculate your strike rate, how many wins you took relative to losses. And then I want you to calculate your percentage, your total percentage. And I want you to see that over 100 trades, I want you to visualize the sequence in the sample space of wins and losses, and I want you to see the end result. And I want you to see that despite losses, if you have an edge, you're still going to have a profitable outcome. And then I want you to visualize and sit down and clearly see and run through a thought exercise in your mind that on some days you're going to end up in the negative. Some days you're going to end up in the positive. And what's going to happen is that you have your true monthly return, and some days you're going to be above that. Some days you're going to be below that. Some days you're going to be above that. Some days you're going to be below that. Some days you're going to be above that. But at the end of the month, you're going to end up on your true average return. And I want you to sit down and visualize that there's no point getting overconfident and then no confidence, overconfident, no confidence, overconfident. There's no point going on the oscillations of seeking after confidence and then being disappointed when you go above and below that mean, but transition out of that outcome-based thinking and just stick to your process and have certainty that that edge is going to play out over the large sample space. But I want you to backtest last 100 trades so you can see that and you can visualize your edge and you can visualize probabilistic thinking based on your trading strategy, based on your results. And so you can see that there's no need to get overconfident and then lose your confidence when you take a loss. There's no need to get overconfident when you win and lose your confidence when you lose. Because over the larger sample space, you're still going to get your monthly return. There's no point getting elated when you win, depressed when you lose. Just stick to your process, and over that large sample space, you're going to get that return. Now, a way to actually help implement this and to get out of this addiction of winning each individual trade is to utilize my free Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset tool. This tool has already been used by 4,000 traders. I checked today, 4,000 traders across the world, and I'm getting amazing messages every day of traders who are transforming their psychology, sticking to their plans, removing fear from their trading, removing greed, and they're able to scale up with this tool because they're now psychologists are calm, they're sticking to their trading plan, and they're now getting results with it. And it's not like it's anything crazy. It's not like it's this crazy process where you have to sit down and meditate for 2 hours and then do 7 backflips or whatever. It's a very simple step-by-step process, a questioning process where I take you through writing down your expectations and grounding those and then adhering you to your trading plan. It's not rocket science. Anybody can do it, and it's completely free. Make sure you download that and use that. And use that every trade moving forward with the knowledge of how your back-tested results look so that you go into each trade with realistic expectation and you realize even with this loss, this current loss, this painful loss, there are going to be wins that take care of that in the future. And there were wins in the past that are starting to take care of that current painful loss to give me my monthly average. And there's no need to have a kill to your confidence. It's just about sticking with the process and being certain that your process will play out over time. All right, traders, if you found this useful, make sure you like and subscribe. Keeps you updated with my content. And before you click away, make sure you watch this video that's going to pop up on your screen. It's either popping up here or here, I forget. But watch that video. It's going to dive even deeper into the trader psychology. It's going to show you my teachings on trading psychology and a tool that I created, the Bulletproof Mindset Tool. But I show you more of the science behind it and give you a really profound explanation so you can understand what's going on in your head when you trade, to improve decision making, to manage your emotions better, and to scale with certainty that over time you're going to end up profitable. All right, traders, we'll speak soon.